So this thing has been hanging on that wall for the past, I would have to say, well, let's just be honest about it, 20 years since I moved in the house. I have had it down off that wall, oh, I don't know, maybe a half a dozen times in the past 20 years. There was a little tiny time when Josh had his bicycle and I had this one, and that we kind of went around the block a few times, but other than that, this thing's been hanging up for over 2 decades. I got this thing in my early 20s, an eternity ago. I got it for 75 bucks used. There was a place that my friend Bill and I were doing a floor in apartment down on Green Road by the lake. And when we were going out in the elevator, there was a little piece of paper in the elevator saying for sale 1 mountain bike. And all of us friends were into mountain biking at the time. So I went back after work and I had 75 bucks in my hand and I bought it. And it looked relatively new back then. So that has to be 30 plus years ago. And we did a ton of mountain biking over the next few summers. Mark, Andrew, Dwayne, me, a few other people. Fantastic. And of course, me biking predates mountain bikes. Biking predates BMX bikes. BMX bikes weren't invented yet when I was very, very young. But I used to get hand-me-down bikes from my cousins, my cousin Randy especially. A little bike, little pedal bike with a brake drum on the actual back tire, and you flip the tires, the pedals backwards to stop. And you know, with what we call the banana seat. If you remember those from when, like, us of our age would remember the banana seats that had the little thing coming off the back. And then the sissy bars, I don't think you can say that now, but the big handlebars. And some of the handlebars had little painters coming off of them. And they were pink and blue, and well, mine wasn't, but we modified those kind of bikes into BMX bikes when BMX bikes first started showing up in the market. And people were talking about, oh, chromoly and all that other stuff and BMX tracks and whatever. And then that led into mountain biking, which led into this for me. But when I was a kid, there was no bus service out in Winona, or a very limited bus service out in Winona. So all of us, when we were growing up in Winona, the only way we got around was walking or biking. So from 5 to 20, I biked a lot. I'm a little 10-speed. I remember getting my first 10-speed for Christmas. I think I was 12. My parents bought me a 10-speed, a CCM from Canadian Tire. It was red, and we were just about ready to undertake our very first Scout bike backpacking trip to Niagara Falls. And so I got a brand new 10-speed bike, CCM. That lasted 3 or 4, well, no, actually, I was a little rough with it. And I had to go buy my own black CCM. And I rode that thing all the way through school, going back and forth between home and high school, Winona High and stuff. And then after high school, I got a car, and the 10-speed stayed in the garage, wherever I was living. And then we got into mountain biking in my early 20s, and I got this thing. And this thing got a huge amount of usage back then. You can see there's no fanciness to this mountain bike at all. There's no shocks in the front, no shocks in the back. It looks like a regular, quote unquote, regular 10-speed. It's got a smaller frame, a smaller triangle frame, reinforced smaller triangle, because it is a mountain biking bike. But back in the early 1990s, late 1980s, this is how they made mountain bikes. There weren't any luxuries with the shock absorptions and whatever else that started coming out after this. This is a regular frame, basically a regular frame. I won't say it's exactly like a 10-speed frame because the angles are a little off, a little more reinforced. But even the spokes in the front. I used to fix bikes for a lot, you know, repair my bikes that I always had. The only thing I had to do today was put air in the tires. The thing's been sitting on the wall for 20 years. I put air in the tires. No, I'm sure the rubber inside is going to degrade very, very quickly. I'm sure it's leaking right now. But I just went around the block 5 times, and I'm winded because I haven't been on a bike in this long. So I might get back into it because it's just, it's exhilarating. When I was a kid, just riding a bike was freedom. Riding a bike was fun. Hanging out with my friends, BMXing and going on trails, and then mountain biking and going on even more severe trails. Just so many good memories. Hanging out with my buddies, cruising around town on our bicycles, going out in the back 40 on our bicycles, building our own little trails on our bicycles, and just going on huge adventures and just riding a bike. So here's something, just to go off on a tangent for all my friends who like my tangents. Scientists did a study. I haven't looked it up, but I hear it from a variety of sources, so I'm going to say it's true. So scientists were out to figure out the most efficient animal, the most efficient for energy usage for animals to move from one point A to point B. And what they found is the condor uses the least energy to cover the most distance in and of itself. Like you hop in a car and you can drive around the world, but again, you're not using your energy, you're using the car's energy. For you, using a human is way down on the list for efficient use of energy to move, because you have to walk, run, crawl, whatever. Whereas a condor can cover vast swaths of land with the energy, with the least amount of energy. But they say the most efficient use of personal power across the entire animal kingdom with an added tool, quote unquote, is mankind or people kind on a bicycle. The bicycle is the most, because again, the bicycle doesn't have any energy in and of itself like a car or anything else. The person sitting on the bicycle puts energy into the tool to move. And this is the most efficient personal means of transportation using your own energy. Period. It dwarfs anything else on this planet of any other animal from the animal kingdom. The bicycle, because, okay, all the other animals can't use tools very well. But anyway, people, I keep on changing my words. Humanity invented the bicycle, and it is the most efficient form of travel using your own personal energy, period. And I've known that forever, because I used to be able to bike, as they say, down to Jackson Square on a whim to buy a Lego set and come back. And I wasn't even like athletic. I was never ever in the auspices of being athletic at all. But riding a bicycle, when I was a kid, I could ride it forever. Today, 5 blocks. We'll see if that number gets higher. So that's my quick video of today. I thought I'd show off my Montana. You can barely see that, but it's Montana. And I remember exactly, I think it says foxtail or foxtail. You can see how scratched up it is from all the hanging on the wall there, and it's just covered in sawdust. I only cleaned off the seat. I didn't even clean up the handlebars. Like, look at that. Look at all the sawdust. Look at all the sawdust in this thing. I didn't care. And it still worked perfect. Like the gears all changed. I have full range of all the gears. The brakes, a little rub. That's gonna happen when the rims are a little bent. So, but it wasn't bad. Oh, God, I love bikes. We'll see what happens with this. I don't know if I'm gonna pursue it more, but I felt good after doing 5 trips around the block here, and I might do more. Everybody out there, stay safe, have a good evening, and I will talk to you soon.